So, I was sitting at home this week. I wasn't fueled up creatively. I didn't know what to do for my YouTube video this week that I release every Wednesday. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date every Wednesday. But I wasn't really sure what I was going to do this week. So, I'm on Twitter. I tweet a lot. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me at Twitch. All the links are in the description. Let's ignore that. Anyways, I tweeted an opinion. And underneath that tweet, that actually gained some good traction for a tweet of mine, were some pretty, what I consider to be, bad gamer takes. So, video is going to be us reacting and giving our thoughts to bad gamer takes. If you guys like this video and you want to see me do a series of reacting to bad gamer takes on X social media platform, part 1 will be this video. Make sure you comment down below. Make sure you tell me in the Discord or something. Make sure you let me know that you like this video. That way I know to make more, because I really like the premise of this video and I'm very excited about it. I'm done talking about it anyways. Let's roll the intro. Let's get into this dude's very interesting gamer take. I can't wait, dude. Alright, this should be a very uncut and unfiltered video, just so I get all my unfiltered, not thinking about it too much thoughts out there. So if I say anything wrong, don't judge me, but the only time you should see like cuts in the video is if I had to take a second to like figure out my thoughts and like compile them like I'm a piece of software trying to figure out what I want to say next, so I'm not stumbling all over my words. But let's get into this dude's take. So this all started the other day when I was down in my basement working out. I was watching ALGS, which, if you don't know, ALGS is like the Apex pro scene right now. So I was watching it and I was just thinking about the days of old back when the Titanfall pro scene was around. And I just realized I was not having nearly as much fun watching the ALGS and the Apex pro scene play as I had fun watching the Titanfall pro play back in the day. If you want to see old Titanfall pro play back when it was a thing, the last major tournament that was like commentated on and stuff, like the last big one that I can remember, I think is still up on Frothy's YouTube channel if you want to check that out. But anyways, I had that thought about how much I missed Titanfall and how much more fun I had watching it over Apex play. And so I tweeted out, Titanfall competitive play is much greater than Apex competitive play. And this tweet gained a lot of traction for me. You know, I only have like 140 followers or something, so you should follow me on Twitter. And this has 175 likes, so obviously a lot of people were agreeing with me and, you know, were of the same opinion. And, you know, there were some replies, just people, you know, talking about their Titanfall experiences. This guy says Quake champions competitive play over any FPS game, which Quake is a great game, I'll give it to him. TBH, Titanfall competitive requires way more skill. This is a take. In terms of just raw mechanical skill, still debatable, because in Apex you have to track a lot more and your aim has to be a different it's two different types of aiming between Titanfall and Apex. And, you know, you can debate which one takes actual more mechanical skill, and they both have their own, you know, thought process skill, where you, in Titanfall for like CTF, you have to think about what other people are doing, you have to think about the Titan control, you have to think about the routes you're going to take for the flags, and then in Apex you have to think about map rotations, you have to think about what other people are doing, you have to think about placements, you have to think about, you know, there's tons of things, and it's really hard to debate which one takes more skill. But what we're getting into here is what all that this guy was saying. Super Space TTV. You guys can, you know, have a conversation with him. Be respectful, of course. Do not send hate his way at all. That's not the goal. But essentially, he said, let's get into this part. He said there's no competitive play in Titanfall, LOL. And I don't know if he didn't know about old pro play, but I said I was referencing pro play. Doesn't happen anymore, but tournaments were great. And he, you know, accepted that. Like, okay. Wall running and Titans require 0 skill. Bro, what are we doing? Oh. Wall running and Titans require 0 skill. That's what this man said, right? So I'm like, okay. Maybe this guy just doesn't have any experience in Titanfall. Maybe he's only ever watched Titanfall and he's a true Apex player. This guy is a true Apex player, but I went onto his Twitter account. There's a few tweets about, you know, playing Titanfall and his opinions on Titanfall. And I'm not going to get into those. I'm going to get into what, concerned me here. But he says wall running and Titans require 0 skill. Let's get in. Let's really dive into this. Titans. Okay. So Titans definitely require skill. They're in no way, shape, or form do Titans require no skill, right? It's definitely not the same level as the pure mechanical skill it takes to be 1, a pilot, or 2, an Apex Legends. The pure mechanical skill of moving around and shooting people, right? It's easier as a Titan. You have bigger bullets going out. You just have a dash. It's just, it's easier mechanically. But mechanical skill isn't the only type of skill. There's also thought skill. You have to, when you're in a Titan, I know there's lots of things to think about when you're a pilot in a Legend 2. When you're in a Titan, you also have to think about a lot of things. You have to think about, okay, what Titan am I? Where are the enemies? What map rotations are going on? What Titans are the enemies in? How many Titans do they have? Are there enemy pilots that are taking note of me and ATing me? Is the enemy Titan a Monarch? If they're a Monarch, I have to run away because it's the most OP Titan in the game. I can't handle that right now. Not in this situation. I have to get teammates to handle a Monarch. Is it a Scorch? And am I an Ion fighting a Scorch? Do I have to keep backing away so that he can't get close and just keep poking damage as much? Do I also have to watch out for pilots ATing me while I'm fighting this Titan and trying to regain Titan control? Do I have to worry about a different Titan that's rotated in behind me? Like, there's so much to worry about. You have to account for different playstyles. For example, if I'm an Ion and a Ronin's running at me, I have to figure out whether they're just a normal aggressive Ronin or if they're a sword blocking Ronin. If they're an aggressive Ronin, I can just try my best to out DPS them and usually win that fight. If they're a sword blocking Ronin, I'm gonna have to run away because they're just gonna negate all my damage and just throw their own damage and then just go right back to sword blocking where I can't damage them at all. And Ion's damage output isn't that great. So like the rock paper scissors that is required with Titan play, like for example, if you're an Ion, you're fighting a Monarch. You're supposed to be Monarch's hardest outplay, right? The true counter to Monarch is Ion. And then you have to figure out, well, does this Monarch have arc rounds? Because if they have arc rounds, they're the perfect counter to Ion. So I have to go get help, right? There's so many rock, paper, scissors things going on with Titans. I could make a whole, 30-minute, hour-long... I can make a whole series out of just Titan gameplay and all the skill and thought processes that have to go through your head when you're playing Titans if you're, playing this competitively, which is what we're referencing here, competitive play, right? So, first of all, the Titans requiring 0 skill, I don't know how you're gonna say that with a straight face and not be trolling, but this guy meant it. I understand. He went on to say that Titans are the most... in his profile, he says Titans are the least fun part of Titanfall. I agree with that. I prefer pilot gameplay 1,000 times over Titan gameplay, but to say it doesn't require skill is actually three-headed. But anyways, I'm gonna move on. Wall running takes 0 skill. Okay. Wall running does not take 0 skill. So he got into an actual productive conversation with the Titanfall community member that just said nice bait to him, right? He said wall running is just jump and steer, all just to hit people with a hit scan automatic SMG, which, I mean, okay, you have a problem with hit scan in an arena shooter? I'm not getting into that part of it. No wonder all the tournaments combined paid out a whopping total of 18k over the course of the game's lifespan. Yeah, AAA competitive shooter right there. I want to bang my head on my desk. Oh my gosh. Titanfall was not made to be a competitive shooter. 1, it was made to be a casual shooter. 2, the game didn't have a large player base. Of course, we're not going to have a lot of prize pools or earnings from tournaments. If the game doesn't have a large player base, you need people to provide money to put money into esports. You can't... I'm not getting more into that. That's just completely separate. But he goes, oh, our Titanfall community member here says it's not, that's not bait. But I would say hitting someone moving 70 miles per hour and taking down Titans all while running and moving at insane speeds Takes more skill than camping until you hit someone and then rushing them with a Revtain. I don't agree with that last part about where he was talking about Apex and like Revtain push, because that's very reductionary, and I'll get into the reductionary stuff later, trust me. But I do agree that you could easily debate about whether like moving and shooting in Apex takes more skill than moving and shooting in Titanfall. You can say, well, Titanfall's reactionary aiming style takes a lot more skill than Apex's tracking and like really just holding your crosshair on people for a long period of time takes, right? And that could be a whole debate on its own, whether the mechanics of Titanfall pilot gameplay or the mechanics of Apex Legends gameplay are harder to pull off. But we're not here to debate that. I kind of like the thought that the movement in Titanfall makes it a bit harder, but aiming is harder for me, at least. It's not harder for other people in Apex. A lot of people can track well but can't point and click well. A lot of people can point and click well but they can't track well. You know what I'm saying? So you can debate that day and night and you won't ever come up with something like with a final conclusion that everybody agrees on, but I'm gonna move past that. And then he goes into the Titan gameplay. To take a Titan down, you grapple it and hit a button. To kill someone with a Titan is a non-skill mechanic if rocket/ability spam. Okay. I don't know if he meant if you're a Titan. The way this is worded, if there was a comma here we could tell, but the way this was worded grammatically, we can't tell if he meant to kill someone with a Titan. We don't know if he meant if the enemy has a Titan or if you're in a Titan shooting at other people, right? And also, if you grapple something, you don't have to hit a button to rodeo them, like, and you have to do it multiple times anyway. You don't have to hit a button. Okay, it seems obvious that he only did a little bit of Titanfall, like he doesn't have enough hours to fully dive deep into it and fully understand all the mechanics, which is just a bad idea to judge anything if you only have a surface level understanding of it, right? But anyways, to kill someone with a Titan is a non-skill mechanic if rocket ability spam. This is just incorrect either way he meant it. If he means that you're in a Titan killing enemies, there's so much play and counterplay behind like shooting at pilots. If they're hiding on a roof, if they're out in the open, if they're throwing e-smokes at you so you can't, if they're throwing arcs at you so that you can't see, if what AT weapon they're using, what weapon you have on your Titan, you know, all that stuff goes into it. It's not a non-skill mechanic. And if he means pilots shooting at Titans, that's like a driving force about why people left this game, is because it's hard to outplay Titans as a pilot. You have to think about it, you have to use your cover, you have to be on rooftops. That's like your bread and butter as a pilot, is just staying on rooftops and shooting down on Titans, and so that they can't hit you. There's tons of outplaying there. It doesn't take no skill. There's tons of skill involved with all that. I mean, these are some interesting tweets, to say the least. Wall running is just a button press and steering. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Wall running is just a button press and... Okay, did you guys hear that one? Do I need to say it one more time? Wall running is just a button press and steering. Okay. Let me sit down. So I told you I was going to get into the reductionary stuff, right? This is what I was talking about. Wall running is just a button press and steering. That is the most reductionary statement of Titanfall 2's movement I have ever seen, because, you know, he's specifically talking about wall running, but that's like only a small part of the movement in Titanfall 2. You also have slide hopping, you also have like grappling, stimming, phasing. You have all these different movement things you can do in Titanfall 2, and then wall running is just a small part of it, and he's saying it takes no skill, and he's just reducing it down to button pressing and steering, right? If you're being that reductionary about a video game or about anything in general, you can be that reductionary about anything else, right? If you're saying wall running is just pressing a button and steering, okay, let me give you an Apex movement. Wall bouncing, probably something he's a huge fan of, is wall bouncing, right? He's an Apex player, right? That's just pressing buttons. right? That's all you would have to say, is that it's just pressing buttons, but there's so much more that goes into it. You have to make sure you slide into it at the right angle. You have to make sure that you actually start your mantle. You actually have to make sure that you time the second jump input at the right time. You have to make sure you flick your mouse away. You have to make sure you strafe correctly, keep your speed going. There's so much that goes into it, but if you're being reductionary like he is with wall running here, you can just say, nah, it's just pressing buttons, which you could dumb down every single video game to that. You can dumb down every single mechanic to just pressing a button. That's just how video games work. But anyways, he links this YouTube video, right? It's a Shyway video. I like Shyway. He's cool. He's a cool YouTuber. I like some of his opinions. They're nice. I like his videos. They're well done. But he's in this video, Shyway, you know, he got backlash because he called Halo Infinite's movement insane. He got a lot of backlash from Titanfall, from the Titanfall community, and a lot of his criticism from Shyway came down to just saying, well, there's not a lot of payoff for doing all this movement stuff. It's good movement, but there's not like payoff for it. It came down to, you know what the average kill of Titanfall looks like, is what it came down to. This is what the average kill of Titanfall looks like. This was his biggest point. This is the average kill of Titanfall. It takes half a second, right? So I'll give him that. That is the average kill of Titanfall. If you're using an SMG, if you're a very average player, that's what it looks like, right? And that's just a complete opinion about TTK if that's what you're complaining about. If you're saying that the movement is good, but it's not as good because the TTK is short, and that's what a pilot kills looks like. He said he's a specific line he said was that you use all this movement just to be the person who shoots first, which is untrue, because you could go to my profile right here, right? A clip I posted the same day that or the day after I tweeted the Titanfall competitive play one. You can come to this clip, right? Twitter video quality, I'm sorry. But you can see how I just missed a Kraber shot. I meleeed this dude. But there's another guy up here that I didn't know, right? This guy's already shot 1, 2, 3, 4. At the point that I get up on this roof, this guy has already shot 4 bullets at me, right? I could have been dead already, but I'm moving in a way such that he can't hit me. That's movement outplay. And then I still don't have a bullet in the chamber of my Kraber, right? As I get up here, so I just killed this guy. I get up here, I still don't have a bullet in my chamber, so I can't return fire. But this guy's still shooting at me, so I have to outplay him. So I just Apex movement him. That's not even Titanfall movement. That's Apex movement, dude. I'm just outplaying him by crouch strafing. That's a Apex pioneered movement mechanic. We don't really do that in Titanfall. What we do in Titanfall, I know there's a guy to the right here, so I slide hop straight to my left and Kraber him, because I know if I slide hop like that, there's a good % chance that he won't be. Because look, I was already low here. I was already low before I started the slide hop. Look how red my screen is. I knew I was already in trouble, but I knew if I did enough good movement, I would be able to survive this guy shooting at me and hit a shot and kill him. You know what I'm saying? So this clip all in itself, and the crappy Twitter quality, oh my gosh. That clip all in itself just shows why movement in Titanfall 2, there's still movement outplay, even though it's short TTK. It's just a different style of movement outplay. Shyway's a Halo guy. The movement outplay in Halo is AD strafing and like crouch strafing and like doing slide and map rotations, and just if you're in a gunfight, just doing a better AD strafe than your opponent is essentially what it comes down to, and outplaying them, confusing them with what you're doing while not being confused by what they're doing, right? In Titanfall, it's all about, he was right, finding the right situations with your movement, which is a whole thing about map rotation. You do that in every single FPS game. You do that in Halo with map rotations and all that stuff too. But it's just crazy that this just came down to essentially an opinion about TTK. And it's the same in Apex, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, my final thoughts on this, because I have been rambling for so long. This is 17 and a half minutes right now, so I'm probably at like 19-20 minutes on this video overall. My final parting thoughts on this, let me switch to full screen. My final thoughty parts on what was said here is that everything this guy said was very surface level Titanfall, just showing that he hasn't played like hundreds or like a ton of hours. I'm not gonna say hundreds because you can understand it before 100 hours. You haven't played enough Titanfall to get past its surface level understanding of Titanfall. You don't understand all the mind games that go into it, all the mechanics that go into it. Just, you don't understand it fully yet, right? That was my first thing. And then the second thing, every argument was super reductionary. Saying that Titans don't require skill, just straight up wrong. That's not an opinion based thing at all. Titans require skill. It's just a different skill set. It's not mechanical. It's thought process. It's assessing the situation. You have to do the same thing in a BR. You have to know where enemies are. You have to know what the circle's doing. Like, it's just thought process. That's all that Titans are. And you still have a little bit of mechanics and the aiming and the movement of Titans. You know, it's not, Titans require skill. That's just a fact. But everything he said was super reductionary, just dumbing down wall running to pressing a button steering, which he said that, I think that's in my mentions 4 times, saying that wall running is just pressing a button steering, right? That's super reductionary. You can't do that and not like apply it to everything, because it's in everything. You can reduce everything in video games just to pressing buttons. That's just how it works, man. Oh my gosh, people are interesting. But anyways, guys, I'm done talking about it. Let me know your opinions down in the comments. Be civil, like the video if you enjoy me for some reason. Subscribe to the channel, click all the links down below. That was an interesting video. I really like doing this. This was a lot of fun. I don't like talking a lot. It was fun rambling about this for a long time. Thank you guys for watching. It does mean a lot. Let me know that you guys want more of these kind of videos, because if you do, I'm going to make this a series and run with it, because this is a lot of fun and I think it's really good content. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. It does mean a lot to me. I will see you guys next week. Let me know what you think in the comments. Click all the links in the description. I'll see you guys later. GG's and goodbye.